Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to be creating a feature for the users to be able to like a thread or like a reply. Right, so that's what we're going to be implementing. And obviously it will not be in one lesson, we will do that in a couple of lessons. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to create a trade to be able to like threads and the replies. So just to kind of make a polymorphic relationship, because in normal circumstances, let's say we only had the thread and the likes, one thread can have many likes and a like belong to a thread. All right, we could have set up their relationship, but now the problem is if we do that, we're going to have a thread ID in this column and we're going to have a reply ID also in the likes database. So that is not kind of a nice setup. So that's why we're going to go for a polymorphic relationship, because if you later want to add something else like videos or posts or articles or whatever the case may be, we can use the same likes model to implement it for whatever we want to do. That's why we want to create a thread to do that. All right, so the next thing is we're going to set up our models, and then we're going to set up our database schema for our likes table. And then we're going to create the like factory just to kind of speed up the workflow. And then we're going to create LiveWire components for the like thread or like a reply. And then we're going to create an exception so for the user to be able only to like a reply once or like a thread once. All right, to keep the integrity of the likes. Okay, so otherwise one person can like a thread 1,000 times, or they can use bots to like it. All right, so, and that's not what we want to do. So we just want to create that to keep the integrity of our likes. All right, so in this case, what we're going to do is let's create that trade, HasLikes. Okay, so let's go to our app. If you guys remember, under trades, we got our has author, has replies, has tags, has timestamps, and model helpers. We're going to create a new file, and we're going to call this one HasLikes. All right, so whatever model we're going to use this trade in, we'll be able to create that as well. All right, so the thing is we're going to create obviously a PHP tags, right? And now we're going to put a namespace. That's going to go to app/trades. Okay, just to make sure that we get to this folder. So if we call the file will know to which folder to go to. All right, so the next thing is we're going to create a trade. All right, and obviously the trade name that we're going to pass in here, this one is going to be HasLikes. All right, so obviously I'm not going to add a block quote. Let me just delete that. Okay, now the thing is the first one is going to be a public function, and this is going to be called likes. Okay, and when we call on the likes, it's going to be returning this, return this likes. We obviously haven't created that yet. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create that likes relation. Right, so public function, right, and this is going to be that likes relation. All right, as we said, we're going to create a polymorphic relationship. So this is going to be a morph many. All right, a morph many because a thread can have many likes, and a like belongs to a thread. All right, and in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to return, but obviously we're not setting up that relationship, we're setting a polymorphic relationship. So this morph many. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the like class. And then we're obviously going to be do it the likable type and the likable ID, but we're going to do this the likes relation singular Next part is going to be the likable. If you don't understand this, you can watch our polymorphic relationship series in our eloquent relations. Okay, and the next one is going to be the likable ID. All right, so these are the fields that we're going to add in our database when we get to set up the schema. Okay, so we're going to do that in a second as well. All right, so the next thing is we want to know by who this user is liked. So we're going to create a couple of methods. Is liked by. So if we call in this method, we want to know who the user is, or who the users are, or who the user is that liked this thread or reply. Right, so we're going to obviously pass in the user model. So just make sure you import it at the top as well. And this is basically going to return a boolean. Okay, meaning we want to know. All right, let me just show you this. Likes spell likes relation. Okay, and we're going to check where user ID. Right, so in our like model, when we create the database, we're going to pass the user ID. All right, so where the user ID is equal to that user ID, we're just going to pass in. After that, let me just check if it exists. Right, as always, just make sure that you import your models at the top. So I got my like model, I got my user model in there. Otherwise, we get some funny errors, and yes, and we don't want that. Right, so the next thing is what we want to do is we want to know if it's disliked by, so public function, and as we're going to put in disliked, just put it like disliked by, and this is, we're going to obviously add the user, but I'm not sure if I want the users to dislike a post, but for now, let's put it in here. Okay, then we're going to add optional. I'm going to say this likesRelation, where we're going to still decide, so this might be useless what I'm going to do right now, but we can still decide if we want to add that as well. Because, let me just show you, because in the original template, I didn't add the like in the front as well, so I think I might change that, so I might indicate how many likes there are, okay, in here, and yeah, let me just make this a little bit bigger. So I didn't add any likes in the front here, so I might add that as well. So we're still probably going to add the likes and dislikes in here, but for now, I'm going to put it in, but if we don't add it, you can add it on your own, but I might just do the likes only. Okay, so I'm still going to decide. So I want to do everything, otherwise we have to come back to this again. So I want to do it for both. So if I decide to only do the likes, then I'm implementing the likes. If not, then we don't need to go back and do extra work again. All right, so let's do that for now. Okay, so we're going to do the user ID. Okay, so it's optional, just like this likesRelation, where the user ID is equal to this user ID. Okay, and then we're going to get the first one. Right, then we're going to get the first one, and then we just delete. Right, so basically what we do now is, if the user dislikes a post, what will happen is we will get that user. Right, so what we will do in this case is we will get the relationship, and we're going to get that user. We find the user ID, we get that user. Then we just delete these like in there. All right. So the next thing is we want to check if it's liked by a user. All right. So this one is going to be, remember, this one is liked by, and this one is liked by. Same as disliked by. This one is basically the method that we call on to actually set the relation. Right. So what we want to do is we want to get this dot liked relation. Then we want to create. Just think of the dislike as deleting and the like as creating. Okay. So we're going to create the user ID. We're going to set it to the user ID. Okay, so we obviously need to pass in the user right here. Right. And then close that off. And then obviously the next part is this set and this is going to be the likes. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and add it underneath my disliked. Right, so we got our like by. The next thing is we want to have a boot method for our like, so that starts up as well. So let's just do a public static function. All right, this is going to be a boot as likes. Okay, then we're going to create a static method inside here for deleting. Okay, and it's going to go function. I'm going to pass in the model. Put a semicolon there. Right, our model. So basically, this can now be anything. This can be now an article, or it can be a thread, or it can be a reply. It can be whatever the case may be. Right, so this is going to be a likes relation. Call in delete. And we're going to unset that relation. So model unset relation, and it's going to be the like. Right, so that's basically our trade set up. And we're going to call on this methods that we created in here inside our post or on our thread or replies right here. So we're going to call on this likeby and all that kind of stuff. Right, for now, we got our likes set up. We've got our likes relation, just to make sure our polymorphic relations are set up right there. And we call on that relationship when we create a user ID in the likes table. And we can remove like by that user, and we can check if it's liked by that user. All right, so it will return a boolean yes or no. All right, so that's it for this video. So we create our trade. In the next one, we will set up our models. This one will be quick with our database. We can probably do all these three at once, and then we will do our Livewire components. I want to keep the video short so that you can easily find the things that you're looking for. And if you want to copy everything, just pause the video. And yes. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, please give it for me in the comment section. And I will look at it and I will see if we can implement it as well. Right. Another user requested that we were able to send a thread, a tweet. Basically, if someone made a thread, we can able to tweet it out or social share it. We might look at that, and yeah. All right, thank you guys, and see you in the next one.